Hello, this is a video on the MM500 Deluxe-I sports camera, which is a knockoff of the Suntone MM500 Deluxe-I camera. It is, as far as I can tell, a one-to-one replication of it, even down to the box that it comes in. They both look exactly the same, the only difference being the Suntone camera has a Suntone logo on the upper section right here, and then on the box, instead of saying Suntone, it just has a generic sports camera label. The reason I'm making this video is because after purchasing this camera for about $5 at a local thrift store, I wasn't able to find any information about it, or even the Suntone version that it's based off of. So if you happen to see this camera or are for some reason thinking about buying it, I just wanted to have there be some information available that might be useful to anyone interested. So first off, I'm going to just go over the structure of the camera, I guess, and just kind of look over it, and then after that I'm going to go over the usability and kind of just like what kind of results you should expect from the pictures in this camera. So yeah. So I actually want to take a look at the box first that it came in. Like I said, this is like completely identical to the Suntone box, except for the logo being missing. Here on the front you can see it says made in Taiwan with Japanese lens. I believe the Suntone one also says that. When I got this, inside was just the camera. It didn't come with any instruction manual or anything like that. I do think that some of them do come with a strap. This one did not. It's a pretty simple box. This was the price tag that I kind of ruined it a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. Anyways, so onto the camera. This camera did come with a lens cap that is complete shit. This thing falls off all the time. I've almost lost it numerous times just by taking it out of the bag I carry it in. Here on the lens it says optical color lens. From what I've researched, that doesn't mean anything at all. I guess it was just a way to try to make the camera seem fancier than it actually is. It does have a couple settings. It is a point and shoot camera. It does have a couple settings on it though. You'll see it says 100 ISO and 200 ISO, and then instead of having like aperture numbers, it just kind of has these little symbols on the kind of settings that you want to use it on, like certain types of days and stuff like that. These also don't mean anything, which I will get into later, but that is what it is. This is the button. Click to take the camera, wind it just like a regular point and shoot. There's your frame counter. As you can tell by the sound of it, it is extremely cheap. This is a completely plastic camera, by the way. Just like hearing the spring, it just sounds so bad. One upside though is it does come with a hot shoe if you want to use the flash with it. I have not actually taken any flash pictures with it. I guess I might as well try eventually, but yeah, that is one plus for it. Loading the film is pretty regular. You're just gonna have to flip this up right here and pull that up, and then there you go. Pretty bare bones, basic, nothing too crazy. And I'd say the one downside, or not one downside, but the biggest inconvenience with this camera is rolling the film, rewinding the film. It is very uncomfortable. You press the button just like normal, but you have to keep the button pressed. It's not like with some other cameras where you just press it, it stays down, you can wind it up, it's all good. This one you have to keep it pressed while you're winding it, and it also rotates while you're winding it, which is very uncomfortable on your finger. So the last time I tried winding it, I just put like a pen in there and like held it between my legs while I wound it, so it didn't like just like rip up the skin on my finger, which it did previously. And not only that, but when winding it, let me try to get this out. Even just winding the lever is pretty uncomfortable. Like this little black piece at the tip right here doesn't like move, oh I guess it does, but it doesn't move very well. It's at a very uncomfortable angle. Basically, maybe it's my fault, but the first time that I wound this camera, I got blisters on my fingers just from winding it. This is very uncomfortable. It has a rangefinder, pretty basic. There's no light meter or anything like that. This is a very just basic point and shoot, so don't expect anything more than that. And now let's just get on to the results. Pictures, you should expect results. I don't know how to talk. Let's see how the pictures come out, basically. So I just want to start off by saying that I am in no way a professional. So any problems that I've had with this camera are just my own experiences, and could be due to just my lack of knowledge and experience. But I have seen a recent video of someone that was using a Suntone camera, a different Suntone camera, that did come across some similar problems they were having. So I believe that these might just be issues with the quality of camera altogether. But anyways, first of all, when I first got the camera, I just loaded it in with the standard type of film that I use, which is the Fujifilm 400 color film. I'm not really paying attention to the settings on the camera, which, as I said, is labeled under like ISO 100, 200 ISO. But after realizing that, I was like, okay, so things might be a tad overexposed, maybe. Like, I wasn't really tripping too hard. But then when getting my pictures back from the lab, the developer told me that everything was underexposed, which was pretty surprising for me because I thought, if anything, it'd be the opposite. But he was nice enough to notice that, and he pushed everything at stop for me, which is really cool. My first impressions of the photos, they are not the sharpest photos. Everything does come out kind of soft, maybe a little bit grainy. The colors kind of blend a little bit, which I don't think is like bad, especially if that's the type of photo you're trying to take. I do know that there are people that like photos like this. I definitely don't dislike it, but I think it's very situational. And then I think the focus is just kind of inconsistent. Like, it's a fixed focus. There's no autofocus or anything like that, but it just seems like sometimes it will focus and sometimes it won't. So you get this kind of like weird like mishmash of like kind of like soft photos, and then out of nowhere they'll just be like a sharp photo, like everything very crisp and like brightly colored, just out of nowhere. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But with the first roll, I was able to squeeze out a couple decent photos, I think. So while I was getting this roll of film developed, I had already loaded in some Fujifilm 200, and then once I got the photos back, I was already in the middle of that roll when I found out that those had become underexposed. So I was already kind of like expecting that the second roll to have the same issues, and it did. It's pretty much just the same of what I got the first time. Colors, I guess, seem a little bit brighter. Things have maybe possibly a little bit sharper, but not so much of a noticeable difference. And for the third roll of this film, the developer at the lab recommended that I use some Portra 800 speed film, which after getting the results back, still didn't really make much of a difference. I was concerned about using the 800 because the photos already were coming out pretty soft and a little bit grainy, and I was afraid that the 800 would kind of just like add to that, but it didn't really make much of a difference as far as I can tell. Photos came out about the same. There were still a lot that were underexposed that were just kind of like unusable. Oh, another thing I forgot to add, this camera I did get light leaks in. The first one, it's very slight, you can almost barely tell on most of them. After the first roll I could tell, so the second roll I taped up the back of the camera and that completely fixed it. Third roll I forgot to do that, but it's not very noticeable. In some photos you can kind of tell, but most of them it's not that big a deal. Another thing with this camera is don't expect to like really capture any like deep shadows or dramatic lighting with it. It does all just kind of get muddled together. There were some photos where I was really liking the shadows and stuff like that, but it just kind of started like blending together. A little muted, not much contrast, I guess you'd say. And that's with trying 3 different types of film, all kind of leading to the same result. So basically, in conclusion, I think the photos are about the price of the camera. They're fairly inconsistent, barely muted, not much contrast. I wouldn't say not to get this camera. Like, if you like this type of look, I think you could definitely make it work. And these problems, again, might just be to my own ignorance in the subject. But yeah, it is what it is. Also, since there is zero information on the sports camera version of this camera, I thought I'd just go on to a brief history of the Suntone version that it's based off of. And from what I've read, basically Suntone cameras were not retail cameras. They were mainly made as like promotional items. Like if you buy 2 things of laundry detergent, it comes with a free camera or stuff like that. This one specifically, from the ones that I was able to find, I guess they were given to Dole employees for like some kind of like safety award, excuse me. And on those cameras, on the back here, it said like Dole Safety or something like that. But that's the only ones, and I have seen these also in red, and there is also a different brand that uses the same exact bodies, the same exact camera. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but I don't know if there's just like some manufacturer that just makes generic cameras and slaps a logo on it. That's what I'm assuming. And then companies just buy that camera and put their own thing to it. But yeah, basically Suntone cameras are just like shitty cameras. And this is a knockoff of a shitty camera Why someone would want that, I don't know, but I bought it, so I guess it worked. Okay, so I hope this video was informational, educational, whatever. I hope you found this video interesting and helpful at all, and thank you for watching. Bye.